My name's Carlos Knott. I'm the brewmaster, janitor, you name it, at Bayou Teche Brewing, Acadiana's newest brewery, fourth one in the state. This is our war room. We kind of keep track of where our sales are and our new distributors coming online. We started off in Lafayette, in the Acadiana area, with Schilling Distributing. We were going to just basically do this as a hobby and sell to a few restaurants in the area. Well, it really took off. We've been selling beer since February, and since then we've picked up Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lake Charles, and Alexandria. We're everywhere south of Alexandria in the state. We're getting ready to start in Shreveport. So our original plan of selling, 10 or 15 kegs a month has quickly turned into 300 or 400 kegs a month and 1,500 cases of beer. Last year we took part in the Gulf Brew in Lafayette. Schilling tasted our beer, people actually breaking into our tent to taste our beer. Schilling tasted it, they really liked it, so they signed us. And they're a big Budweiser distributor, which was, we were really pleased to sign with them. And it was very unexpected. We were thinking we were going to kind of start small, and we went with the big dogs right away. This is our outdoor kitchen. It's also where we have our brew kettle. It's where we actually do the cooking of all the beer. So if you follow me on in. This is my brother Biere. And making beer is basically making a gumbo. You have to heat up water at certain temperatures, and you steep the grains and the hops at these different temperatures to bring out different sugars. And then you wait about an hour. You boil it after you extract the sugar water from the grains. You boil it for an hour, and then you have to cool that down to a pitching temperature of about 60-70 degrees. And this is boiling, so you have a machine that actually cools this liquid down for you. And from here, we bring the beer into the next room, which is our fermenting room, and we pitch the yeast, and it sits for about 2 weeks.
And tell people how hot it gets in here, because it's pretty hot right now.
It's miserable in here. It's August in Louisiana, so it's already hot.
Oh, yeah.
And this room stays probably another 30-40 degrees hotter than the outside temperature.
Whew, so that's like a good 120, 130 in here.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to the new brewery. It should be built later this year, early next, because that it's a much bigger building, so we don't have to be as close to the pots, and B, it's more of a self-contained unit, so it's not putting all the steam into the room. We pump it into this room, which is a fermenting room. You follow me? We brew in 1 barrel batches, which is about 30 gallons or so, 6 kegs of beer. And each one of these is a barrel. These hold the cooled beer, the cooled wort is what we call it. And then after it gets cooled and put in here, we pitch some yeast. It's kind of like baking bread. You put the yeast in there, it eats the sugar, and it ferments, and it turns the sugar in the wort into beer. It takes about 2 weeks. This room is kept at 66 degrees year-round. It takes about 2 weeks to convert the wort into beer. And then after that, we take the beer out here. We pump it into a holding tank where it gets carbonated. And then after that, it gets put into the kegs, 1 keg at a time. After the beer ferments for a couple of weeks and it sits in a bright tank for a few days to get carbonated, we package it, and then we put it in this cooler here. Here you see some of the finished product in kegs, the different flavors, and then we also have one tapped here for our own personal use. Yeah, this is the tasting porch on the front of the Bayou Teche Brewery. This is my brother Byron and my son Corey, 2 of the other brewmasters here. And this is where we sample the finished product, and if ever you drive out here to take a tour where we end up and sample the product. We have 3 of our beers here. Byron has a smoked beer. It's called Bouconnet. It's a wheat beer that's smoked with cherry wood. Our grandfather and all the old guys around here, they would cut down a cherry wood tree every, about July it was? July, when the little berries come out, little cherries come out. They would harvest the cherries to make a, what do you call it?
Cherry bounce. Cherry bounce.
They would make cherry bounce with it, which is like moonshine with cherries in it. And then they would save the wood and smoke their meats all year. We decided to pay homage to that smoking of the meat, so we smoked our beer with that cherry wood. It makes a pretty surprisingly refreshing beer. We like it in the summer with barbecue and stuff, any kind of summer food.
Hot dogs.
Hot dog.
Smoked sausage.
Boudin, works good with gumbo. Corey's drinking our first beer, which is a Biere. It's a Belgian pale ale style. We kind of amped up the hops a little more than a regular Belgian beer. But this is the beer we've had our initial success with. It's all imported ingredients except for the hops are from America. And I'm drinking our second beer. It's called Grenade. Grenade is the Cajun French word for passion fruit. It grows wild around here. Almost every farm has them on the fence line. We used to eat a lot of them, and we weren't eating them, we were throwing them at each other growing up. So we also want to do a beer that reflected our heritage and our past. We want to make a beer with the Grenade. We have a couple other beers coming out. We have a Biere Noir, which is kind of like drinking a Cafe Noir. It's a dark beer with a roast flavor. And then also Coco Drie, which is a beer we designed to go with fried seafood platters and actually Cajun restaurant meals. If you guys ever in Orneville, please stop by, give you a tour, sample something today here off the Tasting Porch. Well, earlier this year we had a guy said he couldn't drink our beer because we didn't sponsor a NASCAR team, so we decided we'd sponsor a NASCAR P-Road on September 17th, 18th, and 19th, I believe. We're helping sponsor a race on the Bayou Teche. It's the whole length from Port Biere to Morgan City, 150 miles. We're sponsoring a team that's got a P-Road. They're going to do the whole length. Should take all 3 days at our pace, because we definitely have a keg on board, but we are sponsoring it. We're asking people to help support the race. If you can, buy P-Road. There's a P-Road raffle, as a matter of fact. Buy some tickets for that, or if nothing else, come out and root the teams on. People come from all over the world. I think there's people from Switzerland and all over Europe, and the winner wins. I think it's like $3,000 or $4,000. So come on out and support the race. It's the first annual Tour du Teche. We'll be out there, Corey and I, on a P-Road racing here.
I don't want to.
I don't want to go.